Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. We had some breaking news pertaining to this football team overnight as Kyle Shanahan and the Niners have fired special teams coordinator Brian Schneider after a tumultuous tenure and 2024 season. And yesterday here on the show, we discussed this as a possibility, something to keep an eye out for, something that could happen, something that should happen. And there figured to be a lot of changes to the roster and the coaching staff this offseason. This was one of them that needed to take place. Next up, is it going to be defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen on the chopping block as well? I do hope that Kyle Shanahan looks for a new DC. So much to talk about here on this show, but look, this is why you subscribe to the channel, because when breaking news happens, we always talk about it here on the show. As you can see, we are approaching 155,000 subscribers. So for daily and year-round coverage of the 49ers, lock us in and hit that subscribe button. Today's show, by the way, sponsored by our friends at Roan. 2025, a few days underway. And if you want to enhance your wardrobe, look good, feel good, get some new style in your closet, Roan is your answer. And right now, we have a phenomenal deal for the faithful. Get 20% off your order at roan.com/chatsports. I am wearing their commuter polo right now, and their commuter collection, it's fantastic. Starchy, stiff workwear is not optimal when you need to endure your busiest, most important days. With the Roan commuter collection, their clothing looks professional, performs like activewear, and feels like total comfort. Are you wanting to look good without having to think about it? A layerable, durable, refined wardrobe that is easy to style and exudes confidence effortlessly in a wide range of social and professional events. The frustration of trying to keep up with the ever-changing trends and confusion in the nuances of men's fashion, sports coat versus blazer, for example, the hassle of frequent dry cleaning or washing, only for the clothes to shrink or fade. But with Roan's wrinkle erase technology, you don't have to worry about that. Advanced fabrics, Roan's signature technical fabrics stretch in every direction. They're breathable, they fight odor and the elements, and effortlessly work everywhere so that you can stay calm and collected even when life takes unexpected turns. So, the commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/chatsports. Use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for 20% off when you use that promo code at the bottom of your screen. We'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the show notes of today's video. It's time to embody your most confident self. So, of course, the news of the day for San Francisco, and it happened late overnight. In fact, past, I think, 2 a.m. Eastern, and just before midnight on the West Coast, that the Niners have decided to fire special teams coordinator Brian Schneider. All year, the special teams unit was awful, and this is a move that Kyle Shanahan needed to make to revamp this coaching staff a little bit, to inject some better coaches for this organization into the positional rooms, the unit rooms, but also you just need to flip the page a little bit. And this is part of the reset/rebuild and tinkering with this team coaching staff roster that needed to happen. ESPN's Nick Wagner breaking the news last night / this morning. Schneider was hired in 2022 to replace Richard Hightower, who was the special teams coordinator originally since Kyle Shanahan came to the Bay Area in 2017. Schneider came to the Niners with a pretty impressive resume. He held the same role with Seattle, and Seattle had good special teams units under his watch when he was there alongside Pete Carroll for a very long time, from 2010 through 2020. But then Schneider with San Francisco could never have this special teams unit playing cohesive, playing clean, playing structured. And this is also on Kyle Shanahan for not putting enough of an emphasis on the special teams unit and that third phase of the game. My reaction to this when I saw the news when I woke up this morning, and then we had a long team meeting this morning here at Chat Sports. That's why I'm getting this video out now. This needed to be done. And hopefully it is one of a plethora of changes that we see this offseason. And I want to read out some data points and some statistics to just give you insight as to how bad this Schneider special teams unit was this year, but how poorly they've performed over the last couple of years. The Niners finished dead last, 32nd in the league in expected points added on special teams at negative 47.67. Get this. That was nearly 24 more points lost than the next closest team in the Atlanta Falcons at negative 23.9. And so all year, this team was horrible on special teams. Errors and miscues weekly. Successful fake punts allowed. A 22-yard fake punt, which got the ball rolling for Arizona in Week 18. So many costly penalties. The Niners special teams unit, 8th most penalized team in the NFL. There were so many muffed return attempts, muffed coverages, both against punts and against kicks, and a lot of missed field goals, which brings me to this point. Brian Schneider, the Niners' now former special teams coordinator, played a role in San Francisco's drafting of Jake Moody. He conducted the pre-draft workout, which led to the pick of taking him out of Michigan in the 3rd round. And hopefully the Niners learn their lesson. Never take a kicker in the 3rd round. I don't care how big of a need it is. You can find really good kickers in the late rounds or even as undrafted free agents. And we're talking about a Niners team now moving into the offseason that is very thin as far as depth goes. Imagine if they use that 3rd round pick on an offensive lineman or another position of importance outside of kicker. And special teams are very important. It really bothers me how Kyle Shanahan doesn't put an emphasis on that 3rd phase of the game. What would Bill Walsh do? What would Bill Belichick do? What do some of the top coaches in the NFL do? They understand that special teams goes a long way in determining wins and losses. It's cost San Francisco in a lot of big games, but you just never use a 3rd round pick on a kicker. And with the new special teams coordinator coming in, the question becomes, that special teams coordinator isn't going to be tied to Jake Moody. Will Jake Moody return? He didn't have a good audition the last couple of games, and shoot, since Week 10, he was terrible. One of the worst kickers in the league. On the year, 24 of 34. He only connected on shy of 71% of his field goals. He was 6 of 11 on kicks of 40 to 49 yards, 4 of 9 on kicks of 50-plus yards. And from Week 10 to 18, he was 10 of 18 on his field goal attempts. And when you looked at him in the eyes, he had no confidence that he was going to split the uprights. And so this could signal you fire the special teams coordinator, you also move on from your kicker in Jake Moody. As for the Niners' EPA rankings all year, offense pretty good, 11. Defense, not good, 26th. Nick Sorensen, he's got to go as well. Has to be the next coach to get canned. Special teams, dead last. And the special teams DVOA rankings under Brian Schneider, year by year, 2022, 15th. Given how good this Niners offense is, and historically prior to this year, how solid to good to great this Niners defense has been, all you have to do really is be average with your special teams unit and you can get by. Niners couldn't muster that in 2023. They were 25th. And in 2024 in DVOA, 31st. In EPA, they were 32nd. And only the Tennessee Titans were worse. Worst team in football right there, arguably. And the Niners moved on from Richard Hightower to hire Brian Schneider. That was Kyle Shanahan's choice. And the Bears special teams DVOA under Hightower, first year, 16th. 2023, 17th. This year, 5th. Now, as has been the case when discussing the Niners' struggles across the board in 2024, injuries definitely hurt this football team. And that hurt production. But the lack of depth for this team also hurt San Francisco, and that's where you have to blame this front office as well as John Lynch, because the team wasn't talented enough or deep enough to survive those injuries. Across the board, though, too, coaching was not good enough. That is on Kyle Shanahan. That's on Nick Sorensen. That's on Brian Schneider, and that's why Schneider is gone. A name to watch as far as a veteran special teams coach who stepped in for Dennis Allen as the interim head coach for the New Orleans Saints and is a really qualified and well-respected special teams coordinator, Darren Rizzi. And with the new regime coming into New Orleans, he might be set free, and Kyle Shanahan might look in that direction. Look, another reminder, this is why you subscribe to the channel. When breaking news happens, I'm here to discuss it for the faithful. Hit that sub button. We'll be back a little bit later today because the storylines are hot.